After she scolds Poe for his destructive ego, Leia tells Finn that their plan is to find a new base. Immediately after, the First Order emerges head-on from hyperspace, forcing the fleet to turn and flee. It is clear at this point that they were not heading towards Crate and planning on floating down to the surface in cloaked transports. So when does this become the plan that, if communicated to Poe, supposedly would have rendered the entire plot of The Last Jedi obsolete? Admiral Holdo tells the remainder of the Resistance that their primary objective is to survive. In such a dire situation, chain of command is more important than anything. She expects Poe to stick to his post and follow her orders, the same as any other crew member. Holdo knows Poe's reputation as a trigger-happy flyboy. If she doesn't have a plan at this point, revealing that could easily incite insubordination. If she does have a plan, then telling him the details could still potentially endanger the mission. Sure, maybe she doesn't handle that conversation in the most responsible way. Holdo essentially just roasts him, walks away, and expects him to change. But she has much greater responsibility on her shoulders than making sure every snowflake on board feels important. Poe's next action is to work with Finn and Rose on the secret plan, and he is ready to just keep blowing stuff up. He is more than willing to go behind Holdo's back with their need-to-know plan after their last conversation left him feeling shortchanged. Finn and Rose are able to escape with the help of Lieutenant Connix, who is on the bridge with Holdo. If there was a well-known plan to escape with the smaller transports at this point, then wouldn't Connix have told them rather than put everyone at risk? Poe demands that Holdo tells them they have a plan, that there is hope. She responds with hope is like the sun. If you only believe in it when you can see it, you'll never make it through the night. She's fueling up the transports, which makes Poe one angry boy, but the way she and the crew react to his outburst suggests that they don't really have much to go off of but faith and intuition. It doesn't seem like she's playing leadership mind games with him here. It seems like she hasn't fully formed the Crate plan yet. If she doesn't have a plan, then she's a great example of one of the main themes in the Disney films, how the Force works with good folks just trying to do the right thing. Her belief in the Resistance is vindicated, and the Force is guiding her. If she has a plan, sure, she could have easily said, "Hey chill, there's a rebel base down there." Poe could have contacted Finn and Rose, telling them not to board Snoke's ship, and sparing the fleet from DJ's betrayal. But Holdo doesn't know that they're out there, and Poe is painting himself as a security threat. She banned him from the bridge before this scene even happened. If that information leaks, or he disagrees with it, they're out of luck. At this point in the movie, it appears that Holdo doesn't have a fully formed plan, that she's trusting the Force to guide the Resistance to safety. The dialogue and events can be interpreted to mean Holdo is a sexist social justice warrior who ruins everything by keeping her plan a secret and not trusting men, but nothing explicitly suggests this. Whether or not Holdo knows about Crate at this time, her actions are easily justifiable. As the Resistance is boarding the transports, Poe comes clean to Holdo about Finn and Rose. She might have never accepted his strategy, but either way she continues to give orders. If Holdo knows about Crate, then this is her biggest mistake in the movie. She sacrifices complete communication to get the task at hand completed, which really is much more important in such a perilous situation. She could explain that they're not abandoning ship, they're heading to a rebel base undetected. Poe, if he didn't also disagree with this plan, could communicate with Finn to return to the fleet before BB-9E would have noticed them. But there's still the possibility that Poe would have commandeered the ship anyways, leaked the information to the First Order, or wouldn't have been able to stop the gang from getting caught. If she doesn't know about Crate, then she's doing her job. Holdo blows the situation off because she truly doesn't have time for it, and maybe they would have been able to get out of range if the mutiny hadn't happened. Leia's explanation is the most concretely Holdo's plan is stated. The only thing she says that Holdo even knew was that the First Order was tracking their big ship, and they're not monitoring for little transports. Is that really something that would have changed Poe's frustrated mind at any point before the mutiny? Couldn't Holdo have assumed he already knew this? Until Finn and Rose get caught, he's entrenched in the belief that jumping to hyperspace is their best chance at survival. He quickly realizes that they could slip down to the surface unnoticed and hide till the First Order passes, but at what point does this become Holdo's intention? It may not have even been until after the mutiny that she realized Crate was an option. If that detail was ever written down, it was not included in the final cut of the film because it is irrelevant to the more significant storylines. Even if Holdo was planning on taking the transports to Crate before she delivered her first speech, even if she was a terrible leader and an extreme sexist, even if this massive plot hole is due to inattentive writing, would that make The Last Jedi suck? It might indicate that the entire plot was contrived just to isolate the main characters and force them to grow. Would that be a bad thing? No. That is literally the function of the second act of a trilogy, and The Last Jedi excels in accomplishing this task. Even if Holdo's plan couldn't be justified using dialogue and events from the movie, there is always room for clarification in Episode 9 or extended universe material. But at the very worst, Holdo's plan is simply ambiguous. You have to be looking for flaws to believe it is one. A true Star Wars fan would not be actively looking for ways to tear it apart. Many complaints about The Last Jedi are either factually incorrect or unsubstantiated. It makes me sad that our fanbase's representation is so distorted by the vocal minority of those who want to hate the Disney films. This doesn't mean subjectivity has no place in a fanbase, or that everybody should agree to love everything Disney spits out. I dislike many aspects about each of the new films, but I'm doing my part as a fan by trying to understand them better rather than overblowing their significance. The only weakness I see in Holdo's story is the abruptness of her shift from antagonist to self-sacrificing hero. I believe this is what caused many to mistake her character as feminist propaganda, but all that social justice warrior talk is really just speculation. Let it ruin something you love if you want it to, but that ain't gonna happen in my house. Sure, it could be clarified with just a line or two of dialogue, but technical explanations and plot hole filling have never really fit in well in the Skywalker saga. Focus on something actually interesting and unique to this movie rather than trivial details. I believe Admiral Holdo was trusting the will of the Force without knowing about Crate until after the mutiny. She fulfilled her role respectably despite the gravity of the situation. I predict that Poe will be burdened by guilt in Episode 9, realizing that he is equally at fault for poor communication and solely to blame for the leadership of a plot that led to the near destruction of the Resistance. Holdo's character is not a statement about why not to trust men. If feminism just means equal respect based on rank and merit rather than gender, then I fully support its place in the Star Wars universe. I don't believe that's what The Last Jedi was trying to say, but if it was, then it's a point I can support. If you hated this video, I appreciate you sticking around for the whole thing. Let me know if you have additional facts or interpretations that I overlooked. Drop a comment about what other characters or plot points you don't appreciate in The Last Jedi. And if you liked it, please share it with your more cynical friends. Stir up some conversation, get excited for Episode 9 Back to Jakku, and subscribe for more videos like this.